Welcome to the Breakup Recovery Podcasts by your host, Barbara Stevens. Discover the wisdom and remarkable insights of Barbara Stevens, breakup recovery mentor, author, and public speaker. Barbara offers programs and solutions for any breakup so you can turn your life around, create lasting changes for the better, and embrace life again.
Hello and welcome to Breakup Recovery. I'm Barbara Stevens, your host, and I welcome Elise Carr. Now, Elise is an empowerment coach. So welcome, Elise.
Thank you, Barbara. Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here talking today about empowerment, especially for the lovely ladies that are listening.
Great. Elise, tell me about your work as an empowerment coach.
My main focus is to guide women and men. I also work with couples, but mainly on a foundation level, no matter who I'm dealing with. It's about understanding it's the power that comes from within. I want people to have this deep knowing. It's like a belief in self that we often can lose when we've had traumas, when we've had heartbreaks, when we've had something that's ended in our life. We often can lose part of ourself. At least it feels that way. I believe we have everything there within us, that sometimes it's more like it's fallen asleep. So in the empowerment work that I do, a lot of the focus is in getting your power back, whether you've left that in a heartbreak, whether you've left that with someone else, whether you've left that even with someone in your family. Bring that back into the here and now so that you are starting to feel into your personal power. And a lot of this does start with belief in self. That's coming a long way before self-love comes. And essentially this is going to help work towards having a stronger relationship with yourself, for you to start standing in your truth and your integrity. And this is about the empowerment from within. And this is a concept that I work with all the time. So there's a lot of foundation work beforehand that also connects to forgiveness, something else that we also need to work through often. But in the long run, all of these kind of foundation pieces come together to allow us to lean in and lead from a place of authenticity, which I feel, especially after a breakup, we seem to be a bit shaky with. So that's a lot of, I guess, the passion behind the kind of empowerment coaching that I do. It's definitely not hand-holding work. It's really about shining the light on the places that feel dark, because we often have moments in our life, I call it the dark night of the soul, but we often have these moments after, something like a heartbreak, and we need someone to assist us to shine a light on places within us that's already within us, that's asleep or dormant or that we've suppressed. So that's a big part of the work as well.
So, Elise, do you work with people one-on-one? Is that how your empowerment coaching operates?
Yes, absolutely. It's very much intensive, deep dive work, and I meet people wherever they are along the journey. So this is bespoke. There's not a personalized thing that I miss. It's very much like that. It's not a one-size-fits-all. So the personalized approach is that wherever you are along your journey, whatever the focus is for you, however best I can assist in your empowerment, that's where we're going to start from. So that's my focus. I do talks, I do run events, I do workshops, but I find the most dynamic and empowering work is when you can deep dive and have that one-on-one and create that space and that environment for someone to really deep dive and go within and open up parts themselves that perhaps they've been too scared to go into before, that they've suppressed for too long. That to me is where the biggest shifts can come from.
And Elise, how long does it take for the average person to reconnect with themselves?
I don't know if we can call it on average. That's a big question, Barbara. My favorite is to at least work with someone for 6 months. I have clients that may come for a healing session because I'm also a Reiki master and I do medical intuitive work and regression work. They may just choose to come for a one-off healing session, and that will be enough to get them on their path. But ideally, if someone wants to have a deeply profound, life-changing experience, it's going to take work. And while I can at times offer a 3-month stint, it's like after that time, you're just getting through to the juicy good stuff. And the idea of working on a 6 or 12-month basis means that you make this a lifestyle. It's not like a fad diet. You're not just trying it on for a little while. You want to essentially reprogram your thoughts, clear out traumas, rebuild your life, perhaps change your career, change your relationship with yourself. There's so many factors in a holistic empowerment kind of coaching program that I will tailor for you, that we need that time. Things need to percolate. They need to sit. They need to evolve and grow and really solidify. So in order for you to turn into that butterfly, have that full transformation, I love working with clients at least for 6 months.
Tell me a story about one of your clients. How have you changed them or helped them to discover themselves again?
That's such a beautiful question and so important. And it's challenging because there's so many amazing stories. It's not an easy one, Barbara. You throw me in the deep end. Yeah. I have a lot of reference for one client who came to me who had really traumatized through their life experiences, personally and professionally. And this had been since childhood, personally and professionally, for about 15 years. And they were also seeing a psychologist. They were also on heavy medication. There was extreme bouts of depression, and they were at a very dark period in their life. They were disconnected and had recently separated from the person they thought they were going to spend the rest of their life with. A child was involved. They really felt that everything they identified with had been taken from them. They didn't know who they were. They no longer worked in that environment. They no longer had their relationship. They no longer had this family unit. I'm sure we can all relate to this when there are times in our life where things that we think are us, our career, the relationship we're in, what we do, we feel what we own, our title, when all that gets stripped away, you are only left with what you really are, which feels like nothing at one stage until we can build back that belief in self. So we had to clear out the trauma, which we did after a certain period of time. We got to the point where this person was then choosing to take more of an active role in their life as opposed to passive. They had their psychologist as a touchstone, but they weren't relying on that. They, through, medical support and the support of their doctor, were able to completely stop any medication. This is still while working with me. We weaved in here not only the empowerment coaching, but also elements of Tantra. And this is also to bring in their sexual power, their connection with themselves. So it doesn't matter if you're in a relationship or not, but still having that connection with themselves on a beautiful sacred level. We brought in spirituality with this. So they're all different elements, allowing this person to have a stronger belief in themselves by changing their thought patterns. A lot of this is reprogramming our mental processing. The way we see things, choosing fear instead of love is the biggest issue. So we did a lot of mental reprogramming. We changed a lot on the physical level, and then we also started working on a sacred spiritual level, working with energy. And to me, this is when we make the big changes, because otherwise it's like putting a Band-Aid over a shark bite. Just dealing with the physical, just dealing with the emotional. Let's say, Western medicine or psychology has a very profound impact. But to me, sometimes and often it's not enough. So diving deeper and working on an energetic level can have big shifts. And that's what I found with this client. Once we kind of cleared that path and solidified the physical and emotional work, we're able to do the deep spiritual work. And it was about peeling back these layers, holding space for them, asking more profound questions of themselves than they'd ever asked before. Sitting with that, letting them feel into that, and starting to understand that they had the answers within them. So holding that kind of space for someone to essentially do the work themselves. This is about empowering you, empowering this person in particular to start feeling like the power that they felt that was leaking from them was coming back to them. So a lot of this person's work, and now they're on this incredible journey. They have a deep, deep bond with their child, which is just incredible. And this soul, this little child of theirs is hungry to learn what, the parent is wanting to teach them, which is beautiful. They have a deep and rich connection. They now in a healthy place with their ex-partner, who they don't choose to be with anymore because they've seen the gift that came from that relationship. And they're able to be, the role that they need to step into for the sake of their child. They're now exploring where they want to go in building what it is they want to be of service for in this lifetime. They're starting to invest in themselves in ways they've never done before. Their entire holistic approach to life, the food they eat, the activities they do, the friends that they're choosing to, foster and invest in, everything has changed. This person, just the energy about them, the liveliness, the positivity. I get an odd message sent here and there in between our sessions of like, this is what I'm doing, this is where I'm at, and this is how I'm feeling. And And even though there are still challenges, let's be real here, life throws many curveballs. They have the capacity, they have the emotional intelligence, they have the kind of the spiritual connection now within themselves and something that's greater than them to see what's really going on, not to fall into drama, not to fall into being a victim, not to fall into fear, when previously that's exactly what they do, and fall into a heap, into a hole where they didn't know how to help themselves except for at the time with alcohol and pharmaceuticals. So this entire 180 has been utterly empowering, and their life has changed on every level, every level.
So how long did this process take?
This was about 8 months, but the biggest shift, we're coming up now to 12 months, but the biggest shifts actually started happening after 3 months. That was when this person was choosing to start to get off the pharmaceuticals and wasn't relying on their psychologist and just Western medicine, when they were opening up the spectrum of how they can start healing themselves from within. So the shift, as I said, the shifts can deeply start after 3 months, but they were very committed and they wanted many things to evolve from this. So it just got deeper and deeper and deeper as we went along.
So I guess the message is that we all have it within ourselves to change our lives for the better and choose the lifestyle and the life that we want. We just need help and guidance from someone like you, an empowerment coach that can help us change our thought process and change the way we live, think, breathe, everything about our lives.
I love how you said breathe. The breath is like foundation, Barbara. This is huge, because if we just take that tiny little thing, if anyone listening right now just wants to take one action step along this path, learning to breathe, like a full belly breath, like a really big inhale and a complete exhale, where then you draw your belly button towards your spine and let go of all that stale and stagnant air from your body. 10 deep breaths like that to start your day, pausing, lunch break. And then again, let's say before you go to bed, when you're laying in bed at night even, that can shift your perspective, because you start becoming present. You start feeling into your body. You kind of move just from the madness of this dramatic chaos that we live in and bring yourself back into present time. So in itself, it sounds really simplistic, but if we start to shift our perspective and start to see how powerful our breathing can be, and within yourself, how if you just shallow breathe, you're not going to be doing yourself any service. You're just going to keep that kind of angsty fight or flight mode going on. And we love this because we live in such a masculine driven world. We want to succeed and keep going and never stop. Just keep pushing, have a coffee, have a Red Bull, keep going. It's actually disempowering us because it's throwing us out of harmony. And this is one of the biggest things with my clients is also guiding them to understand how powerful and empowering it is to get yourself in harmony. And for most of us, and I say most, but really I'd love to say all, we are out of balance. In order for us to recover from heartbreak, we need to get our belief in self back. And a lot of that comes with also working on the energies within us. We're very masculine. We're very driven. We have this hunger to do things all the time, to succeed, to tick the boxes, But by doing so much, we forget to be. We forget to breathe. We forget to check back in. We forget to honor our feminine. And this doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. We need to honor both parts of us. So this is a huge part in, recovering from any trauma, whether it's a heartbreak or whatever it is, wherever you're at right now, to feel into that and understand that if you are not able to sit still and do some deep breathing, then you clearly have a lack of, perfect harmony and balance in you, because you're not able to nourish and take the time to pause and feed that feminine side. You're being too masculine, too pushing, too driving, and most likely too hard on yourself. We need to bring back a bit of loving kindness and compassion and non-judgment into the way we treat ourselves and also the way we show up in our relationships, whether they're romantic or not, because that will filter into any romantic relationship we choose to invest in next.
Wow, thank you, Elise. You've really put a different perspective on how to think and act and feel. And it's very comforting to know that we actually have it within ourselves and we just need a little bit of help from somebody else to change our thought process, to change the way we think about our life. I think I'm going to have to get you back for another episode so that we can talk further about your work. So thank you for sharing, Elise.
My absolute pleasure, Barbara. Thank you so much for having me. It's really been a joy. Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed listening to today's episode, How to Bring Harmony Back into Your Life After a Breakup with Elise Carr. Be sure to listen to next week's episode number 057, How to Start Loving Yourself Again After a Breakup. Elise has kindly agreed to come back and share more of what she offers her clients and shares her insights, tips and ideas for you to reconnect with yourself and learn to love yourself again after your breakup. I hope you can join me for this episode. And the last thing I'd like to say is, be gentle on yourself. You deserve happiness.
If you would like to hear previous Breakup Recovery podcasts, visit barbarastevens.com.au. Connect with Barbara Stevens on social media with Barbara Stevens Breakup Recovery Mentor on Facebook and at You'll Be Okay on Twitter. Read further blogs, view webinar replays, and download your free ebook, 3 Easy Steps to Surviving Your Breakup, and much more at barbarastevens.com.au.